Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking into a really dark system that's operating in plain sight, right on the social media apps we all use every single day. It's this funnel that starts with what looks like innocent videos of kids, but it can spiral down into criminal exploitation. And it's all driven by one thing: the constant, relentless pressure for viral content.
The investigation we're diving into is so heavy that the person who first brought it to light, Falca, felt he had to post this warning. He knew he was stirring up a hornet's nest. He was calling out a hidden, ugly side of the internet that somehow thrives right out in the open. To really get how this works, we have to start with what fuels it all.
So, Section 1, the engine. Before we get into the what is happening to these kids, we first have to understand the why. What's the engine driving all of this? And the answer, honestly, is frighteningly simple. Money. Monetization.
Think about it. In today's digital economy, a single video can make a few cents or it could make thousands of dollars. So for families struggling financially, that possibility creates this really dangerous incentive. All of a sudden, kids stop being just kids. They become a potential source of income. And that's the exact moment that the door to exploitation is unlocked.
This financial pressure is what creates something investigators are calling the adultification funnel. You can picture it as a spectrum of exploitation. It starts with content that might just feel a little off, maybe kind of cringy. But then it goes down, step by step, into calculated, outright criminality. Let's break down the stages.
So this whole descent, it doesn't begin with an obvious crime. No. It starts right up here, at the very top of the funnel, with something that can even seem aspirational on the surface: the child entrepreneur. But this first step, it reveals a really troubling shift in how a parent thinks. And this is the voice of that child entrepreneur. You've got kids being coached to actually mock their own education, all in the name of hustle culture. They're taught that learning about someone like Aristotle is useless, but learning a sales funnel? Oh, that's everything. There's a technical term for this: adultification. It's essentially robbing a child of their childhood by forcing adult responsibilities and anxieties onto them. So, once a child is viewed as a product, the next step down the funnel is what's called problematic exposure. On this one channel, Bell para Meninas, the constant push for more views led to videos that got more and more disturbing, and the public backlash was huge. But as you can see from this quote, the person who paid the ultimate price wasn't the parent, it was the child, Bell, whose dreams were just shattered in the public eye. From problematic, we now move to something way more sinister. We're not just talking about cringy or questionable content anymore. This is the calculated, long-term sexualization of a minor for profit. And let's be clear, it's not an accident, it's a business model. This timeline is just horrifying because it shows you the strategy. This wasn't one bad decision. This was over 5 years. An entire adolescence was publicly curated and monetized. From the time she was 12 to 17, Camelinia's childhood development was basically replaced by content development. Her self-worth got tied directly to her exposure. And this brings us to the absolute bottom of the funnel: explicit criminality. In the case of Caroline Dreyer, the line between protector and predator didn't just get blurry, it was completely erased. The investigation alleges that her own mother produced and sold explicit, illegal material of her to a paying audience on a private Telegram group. So how does this even happen, right? How does this awful content find the right kind of audience? How do these creators connect with predators? The answer is so disturbing. It lies in the very algorithms that run our social media feeds. The process is just shockingly easy, and it works by exploiting the basic function of recommendation algorithms. And this isn't some dark web thing. It's happening right out in the open on the biggest platforms in the world.
Investigators have actually given this a name: the P algorithm. And that P stands for exactly what you think it does. It describes a social media feed that's been deliberately trained by a user to serve up a constant stream of exploitative content featuring kids.
And look how terrifyingly simple this is to build. We're talking minutes. An anonymous user can train the algorithm in just minutes,
By interacting with just a few questionable videos, their For You page becomes a dedicated feed of this stuff. The algorithm, it has no ethical guardrails. It effectively creates a marketplace, directly connecting vulnerable children with predators. So once this P algorithm creates these spaces, predators use them to communicate with coded language. If you see the word trade in a comment section, it's not innocent. It is a public signal to other criminals to move to private groups and exchange illegal material. They are turning a child's video into a hub for criminal networking. The videos themselves might only last a few seconds, but the psychological damage, that's permanent. For the children who are at the center of all this, the experience doesn't just end when the camera turns off. It fundamentally reshapes their lives in the most devastating ways. A clinical psychologist who analyzed these cases explains that this isn't just a bad memory. The trauma creates what's called a false self. The child's entire identity gets built on public validation. They can feel dirty or broken. They lose the ability to form healthy bonds, and they're at an incredibly high risk for severe conditions like complex PTSD. In essence, their core sense of who they are is stolen from them.
And as the psychologist on this case explains, the trauma is just so much worse when the abuser is a parent. It's the ultimate betrayal. When the one person in the world who is supposed to protect you becomes the predator, it doesn't just shatter your sense of safety, it shatters your entire faith in the world itself.
Now, after these cases were exposed publicly, there was some action. As you can see, investigations were opened into Italo Santos and Caroline Dreyer, and Camelina's accounts were taken down by court order. But while these are, of course, necessary first steps, the content often stays online somewhere, and the psychological scars, those are irreversible.
11. That's how old Caroline Dreyer was when her mother started posting videos of her. A journey that started with what looked like innocent dances and, just 3 years later, ended here, at the very bottom of the funnel, in alleged criminal exploitation.
And all of this leaves us with a really chilling reality. In an economy that rewards exposure, and on platforms where algorithms can be weaponized against the most vulnerable, our traditional safeguards for children are failing. It forces us to ask this fundamental question. When the lines blur between parent, producer, and predator, who is left to protect the child?